Have you ever declined an invitation and felt guilty about it? Everyone is going somewhere, everyone is having fun, and you choose the couch, silence, and yourself. And the world seems to whisper, you are missing out on life. What if I tell you something else? Those who stay at home are not running away from the world. They know that home is not an escape. It is their laboratory, their fortress, their source of strength. Today, you will learn their secret. You will understand why they choose silence when everyone else is shouting, why they seek depth when most people skim the surface. And maybe you will recognize yourself in this. Because if you are here, it means you have already felt it. Exhaustion from noise, a real inner hunger. In a few minutes, I will show you the psychology of people who feel good at home. And after that, you will never look at loneliness the same way again. Ready? Then close the door. Let's go. Imagine a person who refuses to go to a party, to a meeting, to a noisy bar, where everyone is laughing and drinking. They stay at home, and you think, weird, lonely, missing out on life. But what if everything you know about introverts and homebodies is wrong? What if their brains are wired to see what you're missing? Today, you'll learn the truth about the psychology of people who are comfortable at home. And this truth will change your perception of strength, loneliness, and true freedom. The world screams, go out, socialize, be visible. Social networks impose, if you're not at the party, you've lost. Society has created a myth. Happiness is a crowd. Success is connections. Loneliness is weakness. But here's the mystery. Why were the deepest thinkers, creators, and geniuses so often loners? Because their brains work differently. Science calls it high sensitivity of the nervous system. Every sound, every word, every emotion in space. For you, a party is nourishment. For them, it's overload. Their minds absorb everything like a sponge and quickly become exhausted. That's why home for them is not an escape. It's a charging station, a place where the brain can breathe. Energy conservation for the brain. Have you noticed that after communicating, you just want to be quiet? This is not surprising. It's biology. Extroverts get dopamine from external stimuli, movement, conversations, new faces. Their brains crave this. Introverts get dopamine from within, through understanding, deep conversations, creativity. They don't need constant noise to feel alive. Studies show that they have a more active prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for planning and deep thinking. They are not afraid of the world. They just perceive it differently. And here's what's important. Loneliness for them is not emptiness. It is space for the future. Protection from toxic noise. The world is full of people who talk but don't listen, who are physically present but emotionally absent, who fill the silence with emptiness. People who feel good at home have learned to sense this. They recognize insincerity from a distance. For them, superficial conversations are not communication. They are a waste of life. That is why they choose silence, not out of fear, but out of respect for their own time. This is not antisocial behavior. It is a high standard of relationship quality. One deep conversation is more valuable to them than 10 empty meetings. One true friend is more important than 100 acquaintances. And you know what? Psychology confirms this. Deep connections make us happier than a large network of contacts. The loneliness they choose is a filter. It protects the mind from chaos. Third insight. The inner world is like the universe. While you are looking for impressions outside, they are building worlds inside. Their impressions are a cinema. Their thoughts are a library. Home for them is not a cage. It is a workshop, a place where something new is born. Artists, writers, programmers, philosophers. Many of them are homebodies because creativity requires silence. Neuroscience explains why. When at rest, the brain activates a passive mode network. This is when you seem to be doing nothing, but in fact, your brain is connecting memories, generating ideas, and finding solutions. Loneliness is not boredom. It is an incubator for genius. The most powerful transformations are born in silence. Fourth insight. Freedom from social pressure. Society manipulates the fear of loneliness. It whispers, if you are alone, you are unhappy. And you run. To meetings you don't need. To people who don't understand you. To places where you are bored, just so you don't have to be alone. People who feel good at home have broken this chain. They understand that the end the video, they do not alone for those videos. They understand that they probably like. They also have an appear a future of lonelies. They understand that the voice of the crowd does not determine their value. This is not selfishness. It's self-respect. They chose themselves, their own rhythm, their own energy. And that requires inner strength. Because the world will judge. It will call them strange, boring, antisocial. But they know, true freedom begins when you stop apologizing for who you are. Fifth insight. Depth is more important than breadth. You can know 1,000 people, but knowing does not mean feeling. Homebodies understand. Connection is measured not by quantity, but by intensity. They can spend an evening with one person and feel more than others do in a month of social gatherings. Because they are fully present, without masks, without roles. This is rare in a world where everyone plays, I'm fine. Happiness studies show the quality of relationships is the main indicator of life satisfaction, not the number of friends, not the number of likes, but depth. And homebodies know this instinctively. They don't build a network, they build a fortress of few but genuine connections. Now listen carefully. This does not mean that everyone should become a recluse. It means stop judging those who choose silence. Their path is not worse. It's just different. Extroverts find themselves in the world. Introverts find the world within themselves. Both paths lead to the same thing. To understanding who you really are. And here's what's important for you, regardless of type. Learn to appreciate solitude, not as a punishment, but as a gift. In silence, you hear your inner voice, the one that knows the truth, the one that is not afraid, the one that guides you. Most people are afraid of this voice, so they drown it out with noise, with crowds, with alcohol, with endless scrolling. But those who are comfortable at home know this voice is your strength. They don't hide from life. They live it consciously. Remember, popularity does not equal value. Visibility does not equal importance. You can be the center of attention and feel empty. You can be alone and feel fulfilled. The psychology of people who feel at home is the psychology of choice. Choosing yourself over expectations. Silence instead of noise. Depth instead of surface. This is not weakness. This is the art of living. And if you ever felt that the world is too loud, too fast, too fake, know this: you are not broken. You are simply tuned to a different frequency, one where meaning matters more than noise, truth matters more than masks, quality matters more than quantity. So next time you see someone who chose home over a party, don't pity them. Maybe they've already figured out what most people never realize. Real life is not where it is loud. It is where you feel alive. And sometimes that place is your home, your silence, your strength.